Seattle Show Gal here with Jonathan Cunningham of Seattle Weekly fame.
How you doing?
Good evening.
Hey, how you doing?
Super. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm okay. Thanks.
You don't want this thing in your face, do you?
A little close. No, it's okay. It's all right.
Well, deal with it. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
All right. So this weekend we've got Reverb Fest.
Yeah.
Or is it just Reverb now?
It's just Reverb. We dropped the fest.
Good. I like that one.
It's just Reverb. And yeah, it's a big deal. 64 bands, all local. It's the only local music festival in Seattle right now. It has been for a couple of years, so it's kind of weird that Seattle's such a music town but doesn't have an all local music fest. So we started one, and so it's happening again. This will be the 5th event. It was the Seattle Weekly Music Showcase for 2 years, but it's been Reverb for 3. And so yeah, there's a lot of good bands playing, and we're gonna be here at Connor Burn and at the Sunset and the Tractor and the Bit and a lot of places. We're taking over 10 venues and just rocking out.
Now, who is your favorite act that you're excited to see?
Ooh, that's a tough one. It really is. A lot of the bands I have seen before, I'm more excited honestly for the bands that I haven't seen. Just because I'm always out and about and just catching folks who are in bands that I like. And sometimes don't like, you know what I mean? But like Shook Ones are from Bellingham, and they're based here in Seattle now, and they're a hardcore / punk band that I've really been feeling.
Now, you just featured them in an article on SeattleWeekly.com, right? Reverb, and your thoughts on them were pretty...
I like the music. It's just edgy. It makes you want to break things. And sometimes when it comes to hardcore, I like music like that.
So was it Bad Brains that brought that out for you?
Bad Brains, yes. That show was crazy. That show was crazy. I feel like Shook Ones have that energy. They have an energy. And there's some other punk bands and post-punk bands. Born Anchors are playing. Telepathic Liberation Army. I mean, there's some cool bands that bring it noise-wise. Mobile Slaughter Unit, they really bring it. You know, so as far as like what you want to get into, whether it be hip hop or jazz or what have you, if you like heavy music, like a metal or a hardcore or a punk, we got some of that too.
So, a question to ask you: Champagne, they are finishing up the night on the New York fashion stage. It has been said that you like them a lot, that you favor them. Did you have any hand in kind of working them into that headlining spot?
Not in the slightest.
Are you sure?
Positive. Quab Copeland.
Swear on your mama.
Swear on my mother's life. I don't personally book it. I make suggestions and based on bands that should play. Who should play and when and where they play, be it what venue, whether it be at the Bid or Volterra or what have you. That's not me at all. That's not editorial at all. That's all Quab Copeland and Max from the Sunset. They really get down on the organizational side of who should play when and all that stuff. That's not us at all. But we do make our suggestions.
I was just giving you a hard time. I had to. I'm sorry.
I like those guys. They're cool. But there's a lot of good hip hop there. Some folks, GMK is playing that same stage. Fresh Espresso, who are like blowing up, play at 3:30. And they're at the opposite end of the spectrum. They're like just as much party rap as Champagne. And they open up the fest at 3:30 rather than close at 12. So it really is like a lot of talent all throughout the day.
So you're liking the Fresh Espresso?
I do. I like the album a lot, and apparently Seattle likes it. It seems to be doing really well. But I feel like if you haven't seen them, you should totally come out and see for yourself. Some folks say that they like the CD more than they like the live act. And sometimes with Mad Rad, some people like the live act more than the CD. You know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things. But the album's really cool, and checking out Fresh Espresso live is something that I recommend no matter what kind of music you're into, because they're not really one kind of band. It's not like it's just a hip-hop group. They're on the hip-hop stage, but they're not a hip-hop group exclusively. You know what I mean? A lot of it's all over the place. It's all kind of stuff.
So if you had to choose Mad Rad or Fresh Espresso?
CD, Fresh Espresso. Live act, Mad Rad.
Overall?
Overall, I like Mad Rad because I like live music. I think studio tricks are one thing, and not necessarily tricks, but there's nothing left to the imagination once you're on stage in front of everyone. You're either gonna fall on your ass or make an ass out of yourself or sound like an ass or something. You know what I mean? It's all right there. So a group that can really, really, really bring it, I'll take Mad Rad over Fresh Espresso.
I've heard that comment many times. It's a tough question, I know. Sorry,
I
had to ask.
I got shots. I got both of them, but
I know.
To be honest.
Going back to Reverb, are the stages set up? I know the New York fashion stage, it's primarily, hip hop grunts, GMK, et cetera, et cetera.
SK.
Yeah. Are the stages set up kind of with the same genre to kind of pull the same crowd to stay in the same area? Or it doesn't seem very mixed to me at all.
It's a good question. It's not by genre, by venue and genre they match up Maybe a little bit more than I would like. But the folks who are putting it on seem to have a good idea on what it is that they're trying to do and create. And it's also Ballard. And, like, you know, I mean, people come out from all over the city, but certain folks will go to certain places. Like the Sunset has its own crowd that are going to come out. The Tractor has its own crowd. You know, the Bit has its own crowd. So some of the bands that would normally get booked there, even if it wasn't Seattle Weekly Reverb Music Fest, are playing those particular stages. Now, there's a few, like New York Fashion Academy, that one's kind of just thrown in there. You know, Volterra is very chill, so that place has got jazz. You know what I mean? So they were really trying to get everything to line up as best so it would flow easily for the people who are coming. You know, it's obviously not about us as a publication, but what people can enjoy.
So, like, just more about atmosphere versus getting the same acts in the same place.
Yeah, totally. But it's a fair criticism. I'm glad you brought it up, though.
It was just a question because, I mean, it just stood out the most for me looking at the New York fashion stage. I was like, oh, I could be there all day. I've seen all these people and I like them all.
Right.
But then the whole point of going to a festival is learning more, and usually you see more cross interaction. So when you're waiting for the next band, you see this other band and you like them. Yes. So I was just curious about that.
No, move about. Totally. I recommend everyone. I'm not going to be like, if people know that I like hip hop, I'm not going to be at that place all day. You know, I'm going to pop in and see bands, and I'm going to be all over the place. So I reckon that most folks will be too.
Nice. Now, what would be your suggestion to someone who, you know, maybe isn't into so much music? What would be your suggestion for a Reverb Fest this Saturday to them, as far as like tackling?
First thing would be pick up the guide. We have a big pullout coming out on Wednesday. So this Wednesday is going to have all write-ups on every single band. There's 64 bands playing. We got a write-up on every single one of them. It's a lot of work. Big thanks to the music writing staff for helping out with that. That would be number one. Or go on the site. You know, there's a really cool feature right now where there's going to be you can download an MP3 from every single band that's playing. So I take that back. There's 63 bands, and there's a mayoral debate between Joe Mallahan and Mike McGinn. That's a new feature, and I feel like that definitely needs to be highlighted because we just wanted to put on a music festival, and we got this wild, crazy idea. What if we had a mayoral debate? Like, would they even be up for it? And both candidates said yes. So right here at Counterburn, I want to say at 8 p.m. At 8 p.m., there's going to be like an official, unofficial mayoral debate, and John Roderick is going to be answering the questions, and managing editor Mike Sealer is going to be moderating.
Awesome. Okay, a couple follow-up fun questions here, bullshit questions, what have you. What's your favorite color?
Orange.
What's your sign?
Taurus.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah, Taurus.
Sorry about
May Taurus or April Taurus?
May Taurus.
When's your birthday?
12.
Okay, May 6.
What year?
1980.
79. I win. Wait. Do I want to proud of me? Okay, what's your favorite TV show?
Of all time?
Right now.
I don't watch television, so I'm going to have to say I don't have one. Hulu takes care of me, though. I watch TV on Hulu.
Okay. Family Guy or Simpsons?
Family Guy.
M&M's or Skittles?
M&M's.
Slurpees or soda?
Water.
Water? What the f*** is water?
I don't drink either.
Coffee or tea?
Tea. Hold on. That's changing too. Tea.
Yeah, live here another year and you're gonna be a coffee person, okay?
I'm coming over to it slowly. Just started drinking more coffee.
Nice.
Like this month.
just now. And what do you think about Seattle overall? You gonna stay here for a while?
I hope to. I really do. It's a really cool music town. It's a cool city in general, and there's just a lot of aspects to being in the Northwest that I have yet to explore. Like, I'm still figuring out the neighborhoods of Seattle, you know what I mean, and trying to get around Washington. I haven't really been across the Sound too often, and Vashon and all this. There's just cool places out here. So I would like to explore what it means to really be up here in the Pacific Northwest. And with this weather, I feel like I'm starting to really feel it. So
well, I think you showed tonight your knowledge of Seattle neighborhoods, as Jonathan Cunningham was an hour late. I'm sorry, I had to call you out.
Should ask my editors about that.
All right, well, thank you for taking the time with SSG Seattle Show.
Show gal.
I know. What is that?
Show. Show, come if you got it.
Thank you for taking the time with Seattle Show. And we're done. Thank you. High five.